Welcome back, everybody, to the Shelly Sharpe Memorial. We're playing Vista del Camino on the XL layout. Myself, Jennifer Allen, along with local Sarah Isaac. Another great local from Tucson, Hannah Stefanovich, and Maria Oliva. This is round number 3, the front 9. Here we have hole number 1. This is a 284-foot par 3 with the triple mando right off the tee. New OB all along the left side as well as the right side if you go over the fence over to Duke. And OB all around the basket this year. Key to this hole is keeping it nice and low, trying to scoot it up there so you don't go too far.
Amazing.
This is Sarah. Squeaks by that left mando line and digs in where it doesn't slide OB on the left. Hannah, letting that one go just a little too high, so she goes over the top of the mando line. Unfortunately, Hannah does the exact same shot. She is always in great spirits, knows third time's the charm. Squeaks it to where it doesn't pass the man.
And rounding out our lead card.
But here we have Maria. Ripping a nice low hyzer line there, trying to curl it around the edge of that right side of the fairway. So Hannah busting out a forehand, trying to work her way up there. It's not how you want to start the round, but she's gonna shake these nerves and has a great approach. That actually skips kind of long. I don't think she realized that it went that long because she looked down. It had a big skip on it. Maria giving it a soft bid, just laying up to start with a par. A lot of low branches, so it's really difficult if you're on that right side high to make a good elevated putt at this basket. Love when you can kind of tap in that first birdie to start the day. Hannah with a great putt. That was probably pushing 22 feet or so. Hannah's going to give us 4 strokes right out the gate. Sarah has such a clean, soft, slow, accurate putt. So Sarah and Maria tapping in their pars. We're heading on to hole number 2. Thank you, spinners, for putting on this tournament every year. Here we are, hole number 2. This is a par 3, 415 feet. Pushing it back just a little bit this year. You got to get by those first couple trees there on the right. And then the basket is located just behind that tall pine tree. Not a lot of OB that really comes into play unless you really crank one over the fence there or over the sidewalk on the left. Trying to sneak one straight. Hyzer's out on me just a little bit over to that right side. The Hyzer line used to be a route that you could take. Now pushing it back, that really makes it kind of difficult. So the straight on or even kind of a flip up to Hyzer shot to go in low is about the only way to really get to the basket this year. unless you're one of the guys and you rip, 450-foot hyzer. But Maria has a beautiful drive there, getting a good shot to there's a few birdie putts that I've seen on this hole, but I think for the women, we are totally satisfied with a good solid 3.
No, I added them up. I thought I added them all.
Hannah trying to sneak around the hyzer route, getting hung up there on the outside edge. Been a little chillier this week than expected, but the winds today are total opposite of what it's been all week long.
You got that putt.
I was gonna hit that line. I should have.
Stuck over here having to throw that hyzer as well. Kind of put a little bit too much angle on it, but it gives me a nice little roll. Actually a pretty difficult approach because you really have quite a bit of distance to make up, and all these branches hang very low. So Hannah trying to scoot that up there. Maria with a great drive, but it's really hard to push these putts again because those low branches. That's a beautiful approach. There from probably around circle's edge. Kind of difficult at Vista changing from those elevated to low baskets, and then you add in the inclines of some of these greens, and you really have to change the angle of your putt release quite a bit. Dead center there for Hannah. Hannah and Sarah are going to walk away with bogeys, and this is Maria tapping in her par. Thank you, Zuka, for helping bring this coverage. This is hole number 3. This is another par 3, 360 feet. You can flip one over there to the right over the fence, as well as skipping across the sidewalk on the left. Very small area. You can get in that drainage ditch right there. That is also OB. You can take the big hyzer route or take the straight line right at it, which is what I've switched up to. I used to do the hyzer route, but I have definitely found some windy days that I can flip over OB. So I've kind of changed the game plan, went a little bit safer. Maria's been taking the hyzer route all week long. Beautiful height and angle on that one. That's going to skip right up to the basket. Sarah's been having trouble with this left side. Today she gets a lot more turn on it. That's what she wanted all week. That's a great drive for Hannah as well. She's going to get just on the edge of that little ditch that kind of runs across the fairway. That's a big high bid, but smart and stays nice and close. That nose up angle. We're probably about 35 feet or so. These elevated baskets, you definitely have to step up to these long putts and commit. Do I really want to keep the height to try to push those long putts, or just lay it up? And I'm totally okay with a 3 here. Beautiful birdie. A huge two. Little high chains. Typically those drop straight down on these baskets, but must have just been a hair to the left. There's a really good putter, so that was kind of unfortunate.
I guess I need to cut it off. Sorry for that. I had my putter in my hand. For some reason, I thought I had it.
In my head, I'd already made that little tap in, so staring at a putter in my hand, I forgot. Oh yeah, there's another one. Go ahead and tap out that par. We're gonna head over to hole number 4. This is another par 3, but 381 feet. This big pine tree in the middle continues to grow, pushing that big hyzer even more than bigger than ever. You can take that straight line more direct to the basket. And there's also a little bit of a flip up turnover that you can kind of scoot over there as well. There is some OB lines long around the basket as well as the left side. Again, the wind today is from our left. All week long, it's been from our right. So Maria's had a great drive on this hole. I was trying to use that left wind and just let it go a little bit too late. I was trying to sneak around in between those two dead trees. Thought playing smart would be changing up my shot with the wind, and I should have just played the same. Hannah getting a great drive, hyzering in right beside the big pine. Nothing wrong with a nice low straight shot. There's approach game is usually pretty spot on. This has great distance. Could have used a little bit more of a hyzer to finish out closer. That's going to give her up there for a look. A little bit of a soft bid there from Maria. I have no clue how I ended up making it all the way up there. I had to look for my disc for a little bit. It was definitely not where I expect after hitting that first tree. And here's Hannah from way out. Huge two. Watch this little run. That's a long jog to the basket. This is sponsored by Zuka. Too bad, Terry Miller, you have a Zuka rollback on that putt. That was huge. There's a good putt to save par from Sarah. Maria and I try to tap in these par putts. This is a great 3 on the hole. Hannah hitting that big 2 is definitely a big bonus on the field. Zuka and Grip, both my incredible sponsors. I love them. Thank you so much. Shout out for sponsoring this event as well. We have hole number 5. This is a par 4 for the women, 386 feet. 4 Mandos on this hole, one right there on right and left, as well as these 2 new double Mandos. Passing any of those lines, you will go straight to the drop zone. Hannah with a perfectly straight, good height on it so she doesn't go too long. A little bit of a big skip there to the left, but that's going to open her up for a good approach angle. Maria had skipped a little bit long out of bounds the first day, so kind of correcting, I think, going with a little bit of a lower shot, not to go too long. Put some air onto this, playing that right side, looking for my big skip. It is exactly how I had it drawn up. Sometimes that worked. Getting a good drive for us right in the middle really makes this a kind of a soft birdie hole if we have a good layup. Unfortunately, Sarah turns that over. I do not believe she crossed the Mando line, though.
Great shot.
Strong approach there for Maria. So Sarah did not pass the line of the tree, so this makes for a pretty difficult upshot, just having to pitch out there. Sometimes it almost feels easier just taking that penalty and going to an easier shot. Great angle for the skip. Goes just a little bit long. This grass here is pretty dead, so you can see this is one of those areas that you can really get some huge skips, and that's hard to judge because sometimes the grass on the course here, even though it's dead, is still thick. So some holes definitely give us a lot bigger skip than others. This is one of them. There's another huge putt for Hannah. Short game is on at the moment. I feel like Sarah's going to get back on as well.
Great putt.
So unfortunate placement on that drive. Sarah's going to walk away with another bogey. And Maria's there to make that a two-stroke swing. We're going to have a pretty good battle here between for second and third. I'll take those birdie putts all day long. Definitely plays as a 3.5 for us, but shout out to Discraft. And we are moving to hole number 6. This is a par 5, one of the longest holes on the course, 783 feet. We're going to play all the way down to the pavilion. You can take that turnover route there that the drone is flying. That's by Paul Uliberry. Good shout out to him for doing the drone footage for us. Or you can take the hyzer route, which plays a little bit safer. Again, the wind shifting today. So trying to use that wind, Hannah does perfectly. It's a huge flex shot down the middle gut there. Maria following that up, trying to hit the same line. Gets under and through those branches. Gives her a little kick out front. That's not a bad spot. I had my shot to go down the middle and last second changed. And held it out just a little too wide and catch that last branch. Got to go with the first instinct. Should have went down the gut. Not too often we have this left to right, so. They're getting off to a slow start. Difficult shot because that left side OB can come up quickly. I believe she's going to stay short of it. I let this wall really get into my head. I was afraid of the run up and following through to the right. Probably should have just went with a standstill, but I was really trying to push that distance.
I was so afraid of the wall.
So let it go low. It's gonna punch it right out there. Maria getting some big air, trying to get past those little trees in the middle that have grown tremendously, and they are grabby. So 2-meter rule is in effect for this event. Hannah was gonna want some turn, and it was trying, it was turning for her, but again, catches the tall part of that tree. They have really made this hole a lot tougher than it used to be. I'm gonna punch that up high. It hyzers out for me a lot faster than I wanted it to. But I'm gonna be safe over there on that left side edge. Sarah's got a good line at this next shot here. She's gonna take that hyzer route. Needed to hyzer though, really fast. It was the line, but unfortunately that disc just flipped and rode with the wind, and that's gonna push her, I believe, OB along this right side line. Hannah taking a good straight shot at it, trying to get a big skip up there. You wanna be right in front of that pine tree. She's close. Maria cranking that one to get max distance on that forehand. Beautiful shot. They're just gonna skip that one up there. Working hard on this nice little forehand game. That one kind of flipped. I pushed it probably a little too long of an upshot for me to try to do that forehand. I definitely don't have the distance for it yet. Hannah sneaks under those low branches there. Good bid. This is one of those holes, if you could just keep making forward progress, stay in bounds. It's a good par 5. You can get those birdies on this. Able to save the bogey. Basket's definitely starting to lean on us a little bit here. I really hadn't noticed that the previous days. I was on, I guess, the other side of the basket, but maybe a bogey with Sarah's last upshot that had went out of bounds. Hannah stayed clean, worked her way all the way up there to get that par, as well as Maria. And we're moving across the street to hole number 7.
I started playing disc golf with my family when I was 8 years old. When I was 16, I got my first job as a cook at a bowling alley, and that's when I made my first batch of beef jerky. As I got better at throwing, I also got better at making beef jerky. Everyone told me they loved my jerky. After 15 years of making my beef jerky as a hobby, I decided to make it available to everyone. Double G Craft Jerky. Give it a try. You're gonna love it.
Hole number 7, this is a new par 5 for the women this year, 645 feet, playing to an island green. To be careful not to flip one over to the water there on the right side, as well as the street is OB on the left. Anything past this sidewalk is OB unless you make it into the Circle 1 island. Again, we have the left to right now, so that's going to play that S shot perfectly for Hannah. That's a great placement. Maria cranking on that one, gets a huge distance. Beautiful drive. destroyer, not to flip, really playing that right side of the fairway to get the skip to the middle. Sarah's going to get a pretty big skip over there past that tree line on the left, and depending on where you land, that can make for a very difficult or tricky second shot. Hannah's going to kind of work over there as well. There is a mando tree past the drop zone area that we also have to keep in mind. So Sarah's just trying to punch back over to the middle, unfortunately getting hung up there. This is about 280 or so left to the basket, but you really have to play it high and wide. Get the good skips and nice and close to the basket there. Maria doing the same. Big hyzer. And unfortunately that does not hyzer in, I don't think. No sign of the OB, but I think that was just a little wide. So now Sarah's pitched up to about where the drop zone is. Hannah getting hung up there on the mando tree, so she will be taking that next shot from the drop zone. Sarah's been hung up on the left side, but gets that next shot right up there. So Maria did not make it in the island. She does on that one.
You take it from drop, yeah.
Hannah clarifying that she does need to go to the drop zone. She gets a beautiful shot, looking like it's going to go in.
Chelsea goes, again?
Hannah's been throwing them in from everywhere today. Ooh, such a good, strong bid from Maria. Hitting these top bands, even though they're skinny, they still will give you a pretty big kick. Beautiful putt. That is unfortunately with the OB penalty. That's going to be for a bogey. Maria with the OB penalty stroke as well. Sarah with that forward progress all the way, but no OB stroke, so she's going to tap in that par. And I wish I had those every day. That would be a tap in eagle. Big difference than playing it safe on day one for me there. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Terry Miller Disc Golf Patreon account. Here we have hole number 8. This is a par 3, 360-foot shot. About 300 feet to clear the pond here. And get hung up in those trees on the right as well as going long here on the concrete sidewalk. So again, a little bit different of a wind today. So we got a little bit of a headwind. Going with the same disc. I'm throwing a Champion Plastic Rock X3 on this hole all week long. It'll be just outside the circle's edge. Here we have Sarah. And if I remember correctly, this is going to give a good look at the basket here. Just underneath that right side. Beautiful drive. Hannah's going to let one go. And then to push all the way across. And unfortunately that does not make it, but I believe spotter says it does cross down there at the front edge. Nice high shot from Maria. Staying safe there. Just outside circle 1. So since Hannah crossed, she will be able to take it over there, I believe, but I believe we called a provisional on this shot just to clarify on where it went. Pardon me if I get these rounds mixed up. It's been a few days. But as long as your disc does cross land on this hole, you can take it from where it last went out. Good strong step putt there from Maria.
Oh, there's a 4. Get it!
So I guess I was mixing up one of Hannah's shots from the previous round. So she was going with that shot from the drop zone. We had several provisional plays out here this week. And that's just what you do. If you ever have questions, don't take a silly stroke later from playing it wrong. Just take a provisional, play it both ways. Awesome birdie there from Sarah with the almost ace. Sarah had given quite a few strokes back to Maria. So they're really starting to battle out this last round. Good putt. Unfortunate double bogey there from Hannah. And Maria and I are going to tap out the pars, and we're moving to the very last hole on the front 9. Thank you, Dukes. We'll usually step over there after the round. Get a nice beverage or snack. Here we have Sarah giving a good, strong, big, catching just a little bit of that pine tree. Nothing wrong with that shot right there. Really have to hit this open air and kind of punch all the way down there. I let it go a little early. I'm gonna catch up there on the left side, but stay safe.
I didn't try to.
Maria hits the line exactly like you're supposed to. Gets a big skip, but we've got a lot of bit of edge over there on that left side. Sometimes you'll come out and that water's all the way up to the edge, but this week it stayed nice and low, so we have a bank to land safe on. Maria's like, okay, if you're safe, I'll see if I can stay safe.
Yeah.
And they're gonna be nice and safe over there on the beach. Looking up that Toro.
Was I supposed to go that far?
And Sarah's going to take the other side approach, and we're going to get about the exact same result. This is kind of a fun putt because you don't have to look at the water like most of the putts on this hole. So Hannah's giving it a good bid. Maria's about pin high, and that's probably close to circle's edge.
I'm not even kidding.
Really been working on kind of all 3 styles of putting, trying to get very comfortable with the straddle just as much as the staggered putt. Definitely can feel the carryover of all the practice starting to pay off. So Sarah, Maria, Hannah, all of us tapping in our par putts to close out the front 9 of the 3rd round of the Shelly here in Scottsdale, Arizona. Thank you so much for joining us. And stay tuned for the back 9. Big shout out to Terry Miller as well as Tyler for shooting the footage this year. Stay tuned for more. Here's the leaderboard after 9 holes. I'm shooting currently a 3 down. Sarah's at 3 over and Maria at 1 down. So it's going to be a battle.